أن القلب سيفتح نفسه، أن الأبواب ستفتح مصاريعها، أن الجبال ستفتح نفسها، أن الينابيع ستتفجر، أن الحلم سيفتح نفسه، أننا ذات صباح سنبحر في برزخ لم نعرف بوجوده. هذا هو الحلم، هذا هو الحلم الذي يمور في الصدور، أن معجزة ستحدث، أنه لابد أن يحدث، أن الزمن سيجود بمكنوناته، أن القلب سينفتح شفيفا، أن الأبواب ستفتح مصاريعها، أن الجبال ستفتح نفسها لنا، أن الينابيع ستتفجر، أن الحلم سيمنح نفسه لنا.
The first thing that came to mind yesterday was gratitude. Having been entrusted with something as grand as the revival of a legend is almost incredible for a young group of architects. It's totally, as was mentioned, a dream come true. Today, we're going to do a fairly informal, collective approach to the explanation of some of the stories that has and had followed us throughout the whole period from the design competition until the final building. We have, as you can see here, and I think you might have to change the projector. With us today, we have whatever is being shaped in your physical surroundings of this world is all because many people are involved. Don't ever believe a word if it is dedicated to one person. Don't believe that's the case. This looked like at the time when these values were debated, ongoing, in this little tiny little office under an attic in Oslo. And we called it Snøhetta. And Snøhetta is a mountain. It's a mountain where people can walk up and have a fantastic view. It is not the tallest mountain in Norway, but it's definitely the most beautiful. And looking at these things as a collaborative model of architecture, we believe we were setting the pace for what was the future kind of architecture to be. A model which is transdisciplinary, a model which includes different professions to make sure that every step we take in design is a sensitive step, is a relevant step, is a step that actually does create a certain atmosphere for the people who are going to use it for generations.
Sitting beside this building, you know, this was a building that everyone said could never be built. It was an impossible building, an impossible dream. Everyone told us it would never happen, but it did. And 21 years later, it's still alive and it's still growing and maturing. So we're very, very proud of that idea. We're going to start talking a bit about the earliest phases of the design work. As you know, the competition was started in 1988, but it actually had a history before that. Interestingly, there was a US president and an Egyptian president standing in the steps of the pyramids on a state visit, and they talked about the revival of this ancient library. And it started a process, and that was back in 1974. And that process led to a group of Egyptian intellectuals rallying together to revive an idea that they also thought might be impossible. And they began to work with national and international agencies within Egypt and beyond. He was a colleague and friend in Los Angeles, and it was very hard to find maps of Alexandria at that time, and he had drawn this himself. And it allowed us to feel the shape of this harbor, the shape of the city. And he told us about the people that lived there, as he was from the city also. We also talked about the wealth of history that was part of this idea, the great life of Alexander, who built his world before a very young age, almost the same age we were at the time we designed the competition. The shape of the harbor built us into an understanding of a feeling of unification. The harbor holds Alexandria together, and we wanted the library to have that same feeling of holding the world together. I invited to look at this amazing program developed by the International Union of Architects of the bust of Alexander the Great and all the program elements laid within his profile. Around in those days, there wasn't any internet for us to look at. We had Konstantin Cavafy, Lawrence Durrell, Ian Forster, books that we looked at. They inspired us greatly. But of course, the great Naguib Mahfouz was a huge inspiration. Alexander at last, Alexandria, Lady of the Dew. They gave us a sensitivity for this great city that was sensual. It was about people and their lives and the character of Justine, all these wonderful people. And then we moved from there into actual work. And here we are, believe it or not, this is Chittle and I. I'm the one in the back with all the hair, and Chittle is the very thin person in the front. No furniture, no structure to our lives, very little money. We had almost no money and no connections. We worked with a number of other colleagues who were very important from several nationalities. We were from all different parts of the world with this dream of being a part of Alexandria.
And I'm very pleased to say that it's truly international. It's a collaborative group, and I'm going to ask, headed by Mr. Kito Thorson, and I'm going to ask Craig Dackers, fellow American architect who is one of the members of this team, if he would come up here, please, with Mr. Thornton, and introduce the members of this team. We have a team of 9 people, which is put together of 6 different nations. We have our offices in Norway, really connected us to people here in Egypt. Dia Babak, he worked with us. My 2 fellow Norwegians, I would like them to come up also. Er je weet hoe, en daar mochten Jozef zo.